Hey guys, welcome to lesson 8.13, surface area. Your objective is that you will be able to apply formulas to find the surface area of three-dimensional shape. So let's start off here. First of all, in your notebook, what does surface area mean? Surface area is the sum of areas of all the faces on a three-dimensional shape. I like to think of surface area as I'm wrapping a present, and how many wrapping paper do I need to cover up the box that I'm wrapping it, or whether it's a circle or whether it's a cylinder or whatever I'm wrapping, I need to cover everything out. It's also like the perimeter of a two-dimensional shape. We talk about perimeter means you add all the sides around. When you talk about surface area for a three-dimensional shape, it's like you're taking the area of the outside and then you're adding them together. Now here's a simple picture with some surface area formulas in the bottom and the volume. Feel free to copy this as a reference into your notebook. We're going to go ahead and focus on three of these guys today. The first one we're going to talk about is surface area of a cylinder. So when we think of a cylinder, this is if I was to break up a cylinder, this is what it will look like. So this is what a cylinder is. This is the shape you all know. If I was to break it apart to make it into two-dimensional shape, it consists of two circles and then we have this big rectangular part. And we talked about rotation. If I have a rectangle shape, a piece of paper, and I roll it together, it makes a cylinder. Now, hence, that's why that's part of your cylinder. Now, to find the surface area, I apologize, it's two circles. So this part of it here, this part of it here, the first part is two circles. That's why you see 2 pi r, right? These are the two circles, the orange pieces. And then this is the blue shape here. Now, here's the deal with surface area. They're not on the reference sheet. So we have to know this. Please copy this formula. You can draw a picture if you would like. Now, let's apply that into one of these questions. So we just said, right, going back to what it is, we just said that, okay, if we have this, how do we apply the formula? So let's go ahead and actually write the formula first. The formula is 2 pi r squared, the two circles, then the height, and then that entire round is 2 pi r. 2 pi r is known as your circumference. So it's the circumference that we're making, and then the length of it. So let's substitute it. It says leave it in terms of pi, so 2 pi 3 square plus 9 times 2 pi 3. So we're leaving everything in terms of pi. So all that means is do not enter pi in the calculator. So 3 square is 9, 9 times 2 is 18 pi, right? And then go ahead, enter everything but not the pi. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 9 is 54. And then now we're going to go ahead and add these two numbers together because they're like terms. They both got a pi. And this is 72 pi inches square because we're dealing with surface area. Now I could have say rounded to the nearest tenth, hundredths, whatever it is. But be careful, surface area, gift wrapping the box. Talking about box, what if we do have a rectangular prism, which I always like to refer as box? Remember, if I tell you I wanted the volume of this guy, you should be able to tell me, okay, this guy right here, the volume is length times width times height. Now, when I break this up here, it turns into this guy. Now, this is a crazy formula. It's 2 times the width times length, all of these good stuff. Now, here's the deal how to remember this. It's like taking length times width times height, and you're just rearranging it because there are two phases. If you look at a box, there's a top and a bottom, there's a front and the back, and then there's the two sides. Rearrange the letters so it doesn't matter this order, and I'll make a note so that you can. Order here does not matter, right? So I can rearrange this as LW, WH, and then LH. So I did the first two, the middle and the last, and then the first and the last, and then I'm going to add 2 because there are two faces. and then I'll put the plus sign in. That's a way I remember the formula. This is just another way. It's the same thing, they're just in different orders. Mine, the first one, LW, here is WL, but it doesn't really matter. Remember order of multiplication. Let's look at an example. Again, you don't have to draw the picture, but at least write L equals 13, W equals 6, H equals 4, and I'm going to go ahead and substitute this. So 2 times 6 times 13 plus 2 times 13 times 4, that's a 4, plus 2 times 6 times 4. Now, when you can plug all of this one shot in your calculator, you don't have to do piece by piece. If you prefer to do piece by piece, not a big deal, but you should get 308 feet square as your final answer. Now, I know some questions that I did had from last year was, does it matter which is the length, the width, and the height? So no, it does not, because we're multiplying. Remember, when you multiply, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6, so the order doesn't matter. So if you can say this is W, you can say this is L, any of these letters, it doesn't matter, we will still end up with the same answer, okay? I know it's a lot, but we got one more to go. And this is a simple one. The surface area of a sphere. A sphere, I want you to think of as a basketball, right, my guys? Most of you, my basketball players. A square consists of 4 circles, so hence the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r. 4 pi r square. Now let's look at an example. All you need is the radius. And in this question, it says find the surface area. We're going to leave it in terms of pi. So it's 4 circles. And then it's 4 times pi times 6 square. That's all it is. 4 times pi times 6 square. Leave it in terms of pi means do not enter my pi sign. This is some crazy numbers, is it? So it's 4 pi r square. Go back, your picture, it says 4 pi r square, 4 circles. Oh, me going back, change everything out. Let me just quickly rewrite it. So 4 times pi times 6 square. So in your calculator, enter everything but the pi inside, and you should get 144 pi meters square. In terms of pi, don't enter the pi in. Alrighty. Remember, if you have questions or anything, I went by anything too fast, you can pause, go back to the video. If you have any other questions, send me a message. I'll be able to answer you. But you know what you got to do. This is how we learn. You have to practice these, being able to identify what shapes and so forth we're working with. Alrighty, good luck, guys.